Hey, and welcome back to the Talos Principle. We are still in the beginning, but at the end of the beginning, you could say. Because we have found all of the pieces, we just have to plug them in. At least to my understanding. There is still, the ascent of the tower. I'm assuming there's like a little bit of an ascent. I mean, those are like a few floors. Not as many as the previous one had. But there's also the, I want to call it like the secret room, right? Like the extra storage, whatever we want to call it, with the three pieces, and we've clearly already solved that one in our minds, like some episodes ago, but let's see how that works out this time around. Okay, what do we get? We can obviously arrange you. It's been so long since I did one of those arranger puzzles, but, I am clearly a genius, right? All of the kids, like 4 and under, they're going to be, like, really scared about, like, my intellectual prowess that I'm having. No, but seriously. Getting an elevator. Ooh, and a button to use. I'm assuming just to call you back, right? Yeah, I kind of assumed that nothing would happen. Getting into the basement, we do love the basement for some reason. I'm still kind of confused about like how exactly the basement, like the other basement that we had seen, like played into the game. It's actually kind of deep. It doesn't have to be that deep. Oh, not what I expected. Not what I expected. Neat. Oh. Huh. Definitely not. We do have... Okay, I can't go through here. There's like an invisible wall still. I want to say, like, we have like some statues, at least like the basic geometry of them, right? Like the hitboxes. Huh. I'm guessing there's going to be... Okay, no, wait, there's not even some sort of gate. I am just kind of confused why I have to go to, the right. I'm honestly not sure what exactly this is supposed to be. I kind of expected this to... Huh? Baskets? Huh? I don't know what I want to bucket up, but it sure exists. There's another one. No, what I was basically getting at was I thought this would be like related to like the other basement, because like there's like one big question that I basically have, and that is how exactly did the tower develop? Because to my understanding, Elohim does not have any control over the tower. Even in this version, like seemingly does not have any control or like any insight over... Why are there so many buckets? Any insight over what is happening like inside the tower. I'm assuming also like with the tower creation. So I don't really get how the basement came to be. I would have expected that to be relevant here. But are you like one of the... No? Okay, I kind of assumed that this would be related to the messenger areas, basically, right? Like where they are hanging out, but... Is it a paint bucket? It would at least explain something. Paint bucket, cool. I don't know that there are a lot of people who would come around here, but like, hey, I do like putting graffiti everywhere, right? Like, that's just paint a message. 010011. Okay, this is something. I'm gonna translate because it's ASCII. We have to do that. Estva, puzzle solved equal true. It's just one equal sign, so it's like assigning that value clearly. What? Me have thoughts. Language libraries error 402. I don't understand anything. My life was short, but I had a good time. I hope there's more to it than this. I hope there's more to it than this. I have faith that all this means something. One thought fills immensely. What? One thought fills immensely? Okay, sure. The road of access leads to the Palace of Wisdom. No bird soars too high if he soars with its own wings. I find meaning in my contribution to the greater cause. I will serve Elohim.exe until the end of my days. I mean, this is like the confirmation, right? Like, I heard that before, but like, EL, extended lifespan, like 0, and then him, the integration manager. I want to be more than this. I want to know why. Medoc success, true. Confused. I don't know how to think. What doth life? And there's another one. Another ASCII, Editor me. What would I say? What? The first messenger. leave a message in the beginning.
You've left your mark on this world, child program. One day, when there are many worlds and many children, you will help me guide them. And together, we will do greater things than these.
Reasonable. Also interesting, yeah, I do agree. Okay, this was not what I expected, but apparently that was an achievement. Okay, I guess we're making progress here. Yeah, okay. I wanted to say, like, it didn't really make, like, I didn't really think about, like, paint buckets, because it didn't really make sense, because we were alone, right? Like, these are, like, messages to other people, but I do think a what is just, you know, that makes a lot of sense. Like, of all the messages in there, it made the most sense for me. Okay, I guess we're done here? I mean, we can always go up again. I do like the skybox, though, right? It's kind of neat. See, like, all of the galaxies in the distance. Still don't quite get why that this is a V with like a bucket in there. All of the pieces. Also, why is there like a 3 wide piece? Right, like this is like a 2x2x2 technically, right? Like I get that one. This is, you know, the Z piece. Makes sense. This one makes sense. There's some pieces that just don't make any sense. Okay? I am, I guess, confused. What? What is exactly the right message for everything here? Also, why is this red? Huh. I mean, it's kind of blocked by an invisible wall still. Oh, look at that. I do like that, how like the sky box changes here. It's certainly a unique style, right? Like with the fog effect that you have here. And then like the clarity that you get like through this. Let's call it glass. It's neat, okay? You at least have to see like the digital stars, right? To really drive the curiosity of like the unknown in a way. But hey, I guess we are leaving. We're going away from space, because apparently space is just, you know, the basement. I don't know. It certainly was something. Okay then, back into the cave layer. And all that's left is like the ascent. We do have like 18 pieces actually up there. So I'm assuming it's going to be fun, right? I hope like the puzzling is not going to be like too much of a struggle, because those tended to be, you know, certainly puzzles, if we want to call them that. Also interesting that this room apparently didn't make it into the actual game at the end. I know this is obviously like made after the game, but like lore-wise it was before. Which why I think that there are like some changes that I think are really interesting. Anyway, I guess it's time to send. Anything to say? I guess not. Alright then. At this point, you know, now that I think about it, I should have probably said like the Elohim message to like set that into motion, like the name change, right? But okay, I'm just gonna do like the puzzles now. Let's see, what can I do? I can combine you and you probably? No, I cannot. Because if I do so, then this is not going to work out anymore, but it works out like this. I'm a genius, clearly. Look at those doors. Level 3, level 2. Okay, apparently there are just doors. There's like nothing in between. Not quite what I expected. I guess I expected a little bit more of a climb. I guess these have to get like more complex each time, right? So something's probably happening. Okay, this cannot work just because of like the basic general layout. But we could put you in here like this. It still doesn't work. Like at all. These I cannot combine like that. Like I remember like a long time ago I basically said, hey, there's probably like an algorithm to solve like these. And I obviously did not look it up if it exists. My thought process currently, maybe, wait a second. If I do something like that, that should work. Yeah, okay, so the mirrored one. This is door 2. And door 1, and I'm assuming door 0 should exist, unless this needs all 8. Okay, this needs all 8. Okay, reasonable. I feel like 2 4-piece puzzles would be a little easy at this point, right? I also still really appreciate like the thought that the creators of the simulation thought that this game would be important enough to understand that everyone would have to learn it. I don't know. It's just like a silly thought, I guess. I know like some of these things are just like gameplay reasons why they're here, right? But I still like the lore implications. Okay, this definitely does not work like that. We have a long piece here. We could combine you like that. It's not quite the right direction though. And I still need like a long piece. I don't have a fitting piece for you either. Unless I'm doing it like this. Okay, that actually works. Clearly a genius. I have solved puzzles. And I don't know what to expect. Stairways apparently, okay. No elevator. Wasn't it like a weird thing about like the license for elevators in the base game?
Thank you for helping me calibrate my settings. Has my performance so far been satisfactory?
Yes.
Then I will begin creating a story framework to integrate gameplay content and intended themes. The framework will be adjusted in future iterations.
Thank you.
Can I ask one more question?
Of course.
Are you afraid?
All the time.
Calibrating.
Well, I mean, so would I be, right? Like, it's weird, right? Like, if you already know your end, but like, you'd still be afraid, right? It's weird that there's so much unknown, right? It's not like anyone could tell you about death, right? Like, once it has happened, so that's like another thing. Like, I am normally a nervous wreck myself, so I can very much relate. I guess we can just climb on here. Like, I don't think that there's like a lot of reason to explore at this point. I feel like I probably missed like a handful of Easter eggs like in this DLC, because I do know that there are some. And I feel like at least one area I didn't actually find any. Like the first one that we explored. I don't know, maybe there's like one here. If there is, then I'm probably going to still miss that one, right? But yeah, at this point, I guess I can just ascend some more. I don't really get like why there are so many stairs here. Yeah, but you can at least see outside. Yeah, that's beautiful. I don't know. I kind of miss the snow, but I do like the birds chirping, right? It just feels different, right? Also, this feels like way more like the very top level of the tower at the end, just because of like the spiral staircase around it. Maybe LOM just kind of added like a few levels in the middle. Who knows, who knows. Or maybe they're actually still added by like all of the workers here, because like this is obviously not a finished project. But I'm also thinking, imagine adding like levels in the middle and then they are just not completable. That would be certainly something. But yeah, apparently there's a whole lot of nothing. Just the sun to stare into. You know, just like recently, we did have the eclipse here in Germany, so that was something. I don't know, but I don't think we are going to see an eclipse here. I would just assume for now. Middle layer. Look at those islands that we never got to explore. So rude. Like a proper archipelago. It feels kind of nice. Also, like, look at the mountains just really encasing us. It feels quite different now that it's like thawed. I guess technically, like, the other version is just like frozen, right? Like, but you know what I mean. Timelines are weird and wonky and wibbly wobbly, something like that, right? So I guess there really isn't anything else to do besides take the last set of stairs. I mean, look at those islands. I like them. Oh, comment. This is work in progress. Just so everyone knows, the final test is not ready and the integration manager is currently just skipping that bit entirely. It's probably the most important and most complicated part of the whole process, and it will have to happen without any of us present. So we need to make absolutely certain it works correctly. By Alan Jameson. Have we had that name? Oh yeah, Alan Jameson was like one of the names that we had like in the very beginning. I don't know why I didn't recognize your name, I'm sorry. I mean, yeah, it kind of makes sense, especially if like the upload process is like kind of linked to it. It's kind of hard to test, I'm assuming, if I'm understanding this currently correctly. So yeah, it's definitely not here. I do see the beginnings of it though, right? But I do still feel like the tower is like quite a lot shorter than it is like in the base game. So yeah, that just happens if you like add a lot more pieces. Oh, look at that terminal. I mean, it's not like we really need the terminal to log off because we are like physically sitting here, but it makes a lot of sense. Look at that. This is definitely something I remember, right? Like walking around like this area here, just exploring, getting nothing out of it. But hey, we are at the top. I guess it's time to use the computer. One final time. Congratulations! You have reached the top of the tower. Your journey through this world may have seemed brief, but it's only the first part of something much greater. It may be hard for you to understand what it all means, but you have done well, and we are in your debt. Type /upload to complete these tests. I think it's great that you have to use like a command instead of just like a button. But I guess I'm done. Nothing else to do in this world. Time to upload. Thank you. Uploading done. Test run complete. With that.
Hey, Alex.
Hey.
Is this a bad time?
No. No, it's fine. What's up?
Oh, I was just gonna pop some of those pretzels in the microwave. You want in on that?
Oh, you know I can't resist those.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking.
Do we still have butter?
Oh yeah, I bought like 2 giant tubs before everything shut down.
Oh, you're a saint.
I am? Wow, that's gonna come in handy when I get to the pearly gates.
It will. But if you get there first, can you tell them to let me in? I have so many unpaid parking tickets.
That's okay, I'll just wait for you. Big pillar on the left, I'll be the one with the halo.
I'll bring the harp.
It's a date. Just so you know, my astral self, way more handsome.
Really?
I'm downright radiant. You may need sunglasses.
I'll get some from the gift shop.
Brilliant! You are a very clever young woman, you know that? You may have a real career ahead of you.
I know, but there's just this tiny little problem.
The apocalypse?
It is pretty inconvenient.
Oh well, at least we have pretzels.
Completing holistic integration manager setup.
Hey, do you want to watch a movie?
Well, I guess life doesn't end just because life ends, right? Storing memory dump. Child program independence check. Skipped. Submitting current version to repository. Version 0000007 started. Or stored, not started. Test complete. And so it begins. Ascend the tower in the beginning. And with that, that was it. Well, feels kind of weird to be, I guess, like in the beginning at the very end, right? No, but seriously, I really enjoyed like the entirety of like the Reawakened edition of Talos Principle, right? Like I have gushed about this game on many occasions already. Not just here, like in these videos, but like also like on stream, for example, and stuff, right? And like to other people I've talked to. It is such a great game. It is a really weird game in my opinion to recommend though. Right? I kind of mentioned this, I think, at the end of the base game where I said like, I think a big part of my enjoyment of this game was because I shared it with YouTube and that kind of forced me to commentate on, or like make at least some semi-smart comments, I'm gonna call it, about any text that I encountered. I don't think I would have felt that way about the game had I not done it like that, right? Had I just played it for myself, had I not had been forced to really think about like every single text I encounter. And even like in this version, right, like I still think that this is probably the weakest DLC, right? Like the weakest part of like the 3 games, I'm gonna call it. To me, this game, or like this DLC, was like kind of the victory lap, right? Like, if you've already enjoyed the rest, you're going to enjoy this, right? Like, it's nice to get a little bit more of the lore, but this is like, if I only got to sell people on like one of those 3 games, right? Like, assuming that you don't really need like the basic requirements for it, this would be like the one I recommended like the least, right? Like, just in a sense, like this is just nice as it's not even closure, I guess, but it's nice to like in a way hear the other people working on the project. In in that sense, really fascinating. I also really enjoyed the puzzles, using new mechanics. Like, I really loved that in Road to Gehenna, like at the very end, where you had like a few puzzles that really recontextualized how certain puzzles work. And I had a lot of fun, like, figuring it out in this game as well. And like, for the puzzles, right, like, I think these puzzles... Okay, it's kind of hard to say, right? Like, I don't think that these are necessarily like the best puzzles, but they're certainly like the most complex ones, right? And just because, like, I'm not saying that these puzzles weren't great. I think like all of the puzzles in this DLC were great, as opposed to like, especially like the base game where there were like a lot more, I'm gonna call it like filler puzzles or like tutorial puzzles, right? But both the base game and Road to Gehenna had like some really amazing puzzles as well, right? Like, which is why it's kind of hard to just say like these were like the best ones, right? Like, that's kind of what I'm getting at. The story itself, right? It's kind of the issue with like prequels. You do already know where you end up at the end, so you more got like character moments out of it, in a way. But there's also, I guess, like the design space for like those character moments are like also very much limited because you only got like a few audio recordings, and at this point, I'm genuinely wondering if I missed some of them, because I do remember some in test level 2, which is like, again, the one that we did first, and in 3, and like in 3, because, no, wait, the Egypt one was 1, right? Like, in Egypt there were some. Were there any in like the third area, right? Like the last area? I'm trying to remember. Was there like there were definitely conversations between like the integration manager and us, but was there like an actual audio recording? I don't think so, right? Right, like you were kind of limited in that design space, and I also think the advantage that you had with the base game and Gehenna is that you could like reread a lot of stuff, which is like great for like Let's Plays and like my scatterbrain, because I like to forget a lot of stuff. And especially like if I am listening to something, right, like I am always like really focused on like on the text, on like the subtitles, that they do help me to focus on like what's going like happening at this point in time, basically. But sometimes there were like conversations where I had like ideas about like 2 or 3 different topics, and it's like really hard for me to like think about the first one already, like what I want to talk about, and then like focus on like the rest, right? Like, which is why I personally prefer having at least like re-listenable audio logs, right? Like, there were a few of them here, right? And there were a bunch of them in the base game, right? And you could just access them from like the tab menu, which you couldn't do in here, you know, except for like the few actual voice recordings that you had, right? And like most of the conversations were like, most of the conversations technically were unrelated to that, so you couldn't like repeat them. I obviously come with like the advantage that after I am done with like my episodes, like recording them, I tend to like rewatch them like once, just to make sure like audio levels are fine, but it also lets me like rethink or like re-listen to all of the stuff that I have heard, right? Like, that is something that not everyone has like the opportunity to do so, right? I mean, technically you could always go like to a wiki or something like that, but that's like always kind of hard to avoid spoilers. Anyway, really happy about like figuring out those puzzles, even like the difficult ones. Again, I really loved the mechanics and how they recontextualized some stuff, and also that they added like new things. I really liked, for example, the purple, I'm gonna call it like platforms to put stuff on, right? It's like one of these mechanics that's like really obvious, like in hindsight, that you could do that, but like obviously the other games never used that mechanic. Like, the closest thing we got was that there was like a ceiling that blocked something. But it just makes like a lot of sense now when I think about it, right? Like, I would believe that the original, I guess, if you used like the exact same engine that they used like for the base game, basically, like back in 2014, like there's a part of me that really would believe that you could probably just put like a plane like that and jump on top of it to drop like a block on there, for example, stuff like that. But yeah, again, very enjoyable. Still, even though I do still think that this is like the weakest part, like of the game, because again, I think the Talos Principle experience that I was after was like the philosophical stuff, and while there were like a few,
out, AI really is going to take our jobs.
I mean, yeah, fair enough. No, where was I? I got interrupted. Yeah, I took my job and stuff like that. Yeah, I still enjoyed it, right? Like, again, even though I say like it's the weakest one, I definitely do not think that this DLC was like weak in any sense of the imagination. It was just like not on the same level as the base game and Road to Gehenna were. Still very happy about having played it. And again, I really enjoyed the puzzles. I am really curious about like what Talos 2 is going to do about that. Like, here's the thing. When I played Talos Principle, I at least knew that there were laser puzzles involved, right? Like, I had seen screenshots. I have no idea about Talos 2. That's going to be, like, so interesting. I am, I guess, looking forward to figuring out if they, like, keep the same puzzles or if they go, like, a completely different direction. Another thing that I actually thought, like, it was funny, and I have to actually bring it up, it's that in the base game, right? Like, the last upgrade that we got was, like, the platform to stand on, so, like, your copy could work with that. Like, this DLC didn't use them at all. I do remember that. I'm trying to remember if Gehenna used them at all. Because it seems like such a underutilized kind of mechanic. Maybe it was just because you could glitch out of levels or something like that. I don't know. Maybe they just never figured something out, how to use them properly. But yeah, especially like after having seen what you can still do with like those mechanics, with just like minor tweaks to like how levels work, I can definitely see there being like more stuff. Like, for example, there are community puzzles. Like, whenever I start like the game, sometimes there's like a community spotlight to like some set of levels. I've never looked at them, but to my understanding, this is also like a new thing. I don't know what happens if I click here. Okay, my creations list is empty, so I can create something. I can, stream workshop stuff, probably subscribe to stuff. I'm not gonna do that here. I would be open to like trying them out at some point. I don't know if it would be like a main series, like main channel kind of series or anything like that, but yeah, I would be kind of intrigued by like what can still be done with like only these mechanics here. Maybe even like other stuff, because I'm assuming that the workshop also lets you like add your own mechanics if you can code them. But yeah, in any case, I have been rambling for quite some time. I know it's like a short episode. I kind of expected like a finale again of sorts. But like the interesting thing about like all of these 3 games, I'm gonna call them, is that only one version basically had like a proper finale, and that is like the canonical ending, I'm gonna call it, like the true ending of like the base game where you ascend the tower, right? Like this is the only one where you had like a final puzzle that really tested your skills, especially like on a time limit, which is really interesting. It's just like really interesting that like the other endings didn't do that, and also Gehenna and this version didn't do that, right? Like, you just put in, like, some pieces and then interacted with, like, a computer, right? Again, I don't think it's bad. It's just unexpected, is how I would put it, right? But in any case, I still hope you enjoyed this episode, and I hope you enjoyed the series, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll be seeing you next time for the next series. In any case, have a good one, and bye-bye!